Ritesh Prabhu, you can go ahead.
Is it text 43, 44?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Oh, best of the great personalities, I am not at all afraid of material existence. For wherever I stay, I am fully absorbed in thoughts of your glories and activities. My concern is only for the fools and rascals who are making elaborate plans for material happiness and maintaining their families, societies, and countries. I am simply concerned with love for them. My dear Lord Narsimhadev, I see that there are many saintly persons indeed, but they are interested only in their own deliverance, not caring for the big cities and towns. They go to the Himalayas or the forest to meditate with vows of silence, Maunavrat. They are not interested in delivering others. As for me, however, I do not wish to be liberated alone. Leaving aside all these poor fools and rascals, I know that without Krishna consciousness, without taking shelter of your lotus feet, one cannot be happy. Therefore, I wish to bring them back to shelter at your lotus feet. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So, yeah, so in these prayers, these are the prayers which uh, Prahlad Maharaj is saying to Lord Narsimhadev, and we can see how he is like concerned about welfare of everyone. Now we will just see one more slide. So these are the prayers where Prahlad Maharaj is praying for Hiranyakashipu to Lord Narsimha. Would anyone like to read this?
I can read it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Prahlad Maharaj said, O Supreme Lord, because you are so merciful to the fallen souls, I ask you for only one benediction. I know that my father, at the time of his death, had already been purified by your glance upon him. But because of his ignorance of your beautiful power and supremacy, he was unnecessarily angry at you, falsely thinking that you were the killer of his brother. Thus, he directly blasphemed your lordship, the spiritual master of all living beings, and committed heavily sinful activities directly against me, your devotee. I wish that he be excused for these sinful.
Thank you, Saraswati. So now we can go ahead and start our class with prayers. Uh, so yeah, let me quickly do the prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनूभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणरघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी ते नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे So yeah, Hare Krishna. We are discussing today the quality Kripalu, which can be translated is kind of translated either as merciful or kind. So yeah, we will explore both the aspects. Uh, so I think we will start with overall structure would be to first discuss like how the merciful Lord is, and then there will be like we will go through how Prahlad Maharaj exhibits this kind qualities of mercy, and then we will have some discussions in between that how we like obviously this is a quality of a pure devotee, but from our point of view, like how we can practice kindness. So there are a lot of discussions today. So it will be great if everyone is participating. Okay, so before actually diving deeper into mercy, I wanted to start today's class by reciting this bhajan. So this bhajan is it's called Gurudev. It is written by Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and here he is begging for mercy from Vaishnavas from Gurudev, and I think it very nicely captures the mood of like begging mercy. So I thought before like diving deeper into mercy, we can also start the class by begging for mercy. So I can recite, and if anyone wants, they can also it can we can say it in a call response format. If you want, you can just sing without unmuting, or it will be great if someone wants to unmute and sing along as well. So thank you.
Yeah, does anyone want to respond as Prabhuji sings? We can have one devotee respond. Okay, I can respond, Prabhu. You can.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, I think Ritesh Prabhu is also saying.
Okay, then Ritesh Prabhu can do it. I'll
Both of you can do it. It's nice.
if multiple people do it, it'll go out of sync. So that's why.
Okay, Prabhu. Okay.
One person can be unmuted and respond, and others can do it. I'll mute it. I'll mute myself. The Ritesh Prabhu can do it.
Okay. गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया करो ए दासे तृणपेखा अतिहीना गुरुदेव
कृपा
कृपा बिंदु दिया
दिया
करो ए दासे
दास
तृणपेखा
दीना
अतिहीना सकल सहने बल दिया करो निज माने स्पृहाहीना सकल सहने बल दिया
बलिया
करो
को
निज
निज
माने
मानते
स्पृहाहीना गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया करो ए दासे तृणपेखा अतिहीना गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया
दिया
करो ए
कोई
दासे
दास
तृणपेखा
दीना
अतिहीना सकले सम्मान করিতে सकति দেহনাথ যথ যথ
सकल
सकले सम्मान
समय
করিতে सकति
करुणाति देह
দেহনাথ যথ যথ তবে তো গাইব হরি নাম সুখে अपराध habe হাত
तबे
তবে তো গাইব হরি নাম সুখে अपराध habe হাত गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया करो ए दासे तृणपेखातिहीना गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया करो ए दासे तृणपेखातिहीना कबे हेनो कृपा लभियाए जाना कृतार्थ होइबे नाथ कबे हेनो कृपा
कृपा
लभियाए जाना कृतार्थ होइबे नाथ
लभिया
शक्ति बुद्धिहीन अमियाति दीन करो मोरे आत्मसाथ शक्ति
बुद्धिहीन
बुद्धिहीन
हमें
अमियाति दीन करो मोरे आत्मसात गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया करो ए दासे तृण पेखा गुरुदेव कृपा
कृपा
बिंदु
बिंदु
दिया
दिया
करो ए
कोई
दासे
दासे
तृण पेखा
देखा
যোগ্যতা বিচারে কিছু নাহি পাই তোমার করুণা সার যোগ্যতা বিচারে
विचारे कि
কিছু
चुनाई
নাহি পাই তোমার করুণা সার করুণা না হইলে কান্দিয়া কান্দিয়া প্রাণ না রাখিব আর করুণা না
करुणा
হইলে
হইলে
কান্দিয়া
কাঁদিয়া
কান্দিয়া প্রাণ না রাখিব
রাখিব
আর
আরাম।
গুরুদেব কৃপা বিন্দু দিয়া করো এই দাসে তৃণ পেখাতিহীনা
गुरुदेव
गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु
बंदु दिया
दिया करो ए दासे
करुणासे
ऋण पे खाते
सिखाती
ना
नाम।
सकल सहाने बल दिया करो निज माने स्पृहाहीना
सकल
सकल सहाने
सहाने
बल दिया
बलिया
करो निज
निज
माने स्पृहाहीन
प्रियहीना
गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया करो ए दासे तृण पेखा
गुरुदेव
देव
कृपा
कृपा बिंदु
बंदु दिया
दिया करो ए दासे तृण पेखा
देखा नाम।
Thank you, Ritesh Prabhu, for singing along. Would anyone like to read the translations for this? Yes, Saraswati, go ahead.
Gurudev, give to this servant just one drop of mercy. I am lower than a blade of grass. Give me all help. Give me strength. Let me be as you are, without desires or aspirations. I offer you all respects, for thus I may have the energy to know you correctly. Then, by chanting the holy name in great ecstasy, all my offenses will cease. O Lord and Master, when will such mercy fall to this one who is weak and devoid of intelligence? Allow me to be with you. If you examine me, you will find no qualities. Your mercy is all that I am made of. If you are not merciful unto me, I can only weep, and I will not be able to maintain my life.
Thank you, Saraswati. So here we can see like how beautifully Bhaktivinoda Thakur has like begged for mercy and said like everything he is literally because of mercy of his guru. So here we can see like how the mercy of Vaishnavas, mercy of pure devotees is highlighted, and without it, we are literally nothing. Whatever we are because of mercy. So I wanted to begin this class by asking a question to everyone, that what is mercy according to you? Because we speak so much about mercy, we always pray for mercy, we beg for mercy, but what does it really mean to you? Would anyone like to add anything on this?
Maybe giving an opportunity to someone who's not qualified.
Like you giving or someone?
Eh, nahi re. Like,
Okay. Okay. I get it. Yeah, that makes sense. That's a beautiful answer. Anyone else? What is mercy for them?
Yeah, I
Nupur,
mean, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, mine was similar to Nupur's. Yeah, when we receive something that we don't deserve, that is how Krupa. mercy is defined often.
Perfect, Prabhu. Yeah. Yeah. Guru Mataji says, receiving beyond than what I deserve. That's perfect. And like Mataji is saying, while our anarthas are blocking our progress, mercy helps destroy that anarthas and hence giving an opportunity to progress. Wow. Very beautiful definition, like Mataji. So yeah, thank you for that. So yeah, so the definition which I found was also very similar to what all you all said, that what we are not worthy of, getting that is mercy. So I was yeah, Gaur Kumar Rose says grace that flows downwards. Do you want to elaborate on that, Prabhu?
Um, it is something that comes from someone with higher consciousness, and then something that they give is mercy. That's what I was thinking, Prabhu. Yeah.
Makes sense, bro. Thank you, bro. Thank you for that. So I was listening to one class of Bhakti Rasamrit Swami on mercy, and I'll just tell like how he like further gave examples to describe mercy. So he said like consider an exam which of out of 100 marks, and it has passing at 40 marks. So many students will pass, they will score above 40, some will not pass, they will fail, like they will score less than 40. So if someone fails, for example, by 4 or 5 marks, then the teacher might feel bad that, oh, the student is just like failing by a few marks, and they might just miss an entire year because of it, or it can impact their career. So why not just give them some grace marks? So even the word which is used is grace marks in India often. So they give grace marks like extra 4 marks, and they will be like, okay, let's pass this student. So this is mercy, this is kripa, because they did not actually earn those marks, but the teacher gave them. So that is mercy. And Srila Prabhupada further says that uh, he tells this story that a student didn't prepare anything for an exam. And that exam was about information about one particular kingdom of a king. And the student didn't even know what is the name of that kingdom. So knowing anything else was like quite impossible for him. But for some reason, he decided to fill the entire paper. He had no idea, but he was filling the entire paper with random words and sentences which made no sense at all. Like even if you like look at one sentence, it had no meaning. There were just random combination of words. But he wrote it very neatly in very good handwriting and filled the entire paper. When the teacher started correcting it, the teacher was like, what nonsense is this? Like, what is this? The student should fail. But then the teacher started looking, and he was like, the student knew nothing, but still the, he has taken some efforts. Like there was no need for him to write all of this, and that too so beautifully. And the teacher feels like, okay, he does not deserve to pass, but I will still pass him. Now, can we imagine that this scenario, that okay, someone failing by 4 marks, them getting grace marks to pass is understandable, but someone who is like literally scoring a zero, then that person passing, that is something like beyond, right? So it's very rare to see such examples in material world, but in spiritual world, this is what is called as ahetuki krupa, or causeless mercy. It's not just mercy, it is causeless mercy. There was no way this person could have really like obtained it or scored it, but still they get it. Yeah. Vallabh Chaitanya Prabhu is saying, wished my teachers were like that. uh, so And Bhakti Rasamrit Swami further says that we similarly should keep trying in Krishna consciousness. So at the end of our life, when Krishna is looking at our answer paper, he will think this is full of nonsense, whatever this person has done throughout his life. But then he will see, but I see a lot of efforts were made. Even if it was nonsense, lot of efforts were made. So I will give passing marks. And that's the only hope. And that is mercy. So, yeah, with that understanding, we can dive further. So yeah, I wanted to ask this question to everyone. Which characters or stories do you think of when you think of mercy? Could be from Bhagavatam, could be from Chaitanya Charitamrita, or anywhere else. Yeah, Nupur Mataji says Nityananda. That's perfect answer. He perfectly embodies mercy, the most merciful. Anyone else?
Haridas Thakur.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you want to like elaborate, Prabhu? Like what aspects of his mercy?
Like he, those who came to destroy him, he
Right.
delivered them.
Yeah.
Like first the king's people who beat him in 22 marketplaces, and then the prostitute who came. So he actually, yeah, they were up to destroy him. Still, he was merciful and gave them higher understandings.
Very beautiful point, Prabhu. Like he not just forgave them, but also delivered them. Like that is pure mercy, right? Like they were not worthy of anything. They were literally sinful people, but they got delivered. Yeah. Vallabh Chaitanya
Yep.
Prabhu says Jagai Madhai. Yeah. So mercy of Jagai Madhai, or they were on the receiving ends of the mercy, right? Yeah, I think so.
In in Sad,
Receiving end. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, Suman Mataji, yeah.
yes, Ajamil got mercy from the sadhus with the word Narayan that he got for it. So because of that, he was released.
Yeah, that is perfect. That was also pure mercy. Like he was not deserving anything, but he still like because of the mercy of those devotees, he got the holy name by which he was delivered at the end of his life because they told him to name his son Narayan and he called Narayan at the end of his life. So yeah. Yeah, Nityakeshwari Mataji says Jada Bharat and a deer. Mataji, do you want to like elaborate on that?
Yeah, I meant to say Bharat Maharaj, and they showed
Yes.
mercy to the deers was not Jada Bharat, sorry. Yeah.
Yes. Was that mercy though, Mataji? The what he showed to the
Well,
deer?
I mean, he was compassionate to the deer
Right,
at the
right.
first. Well, yeah, it negatively impacted. So that is also something to be, there is also
Yeah.
learning from that example.
In
Right.
Daksha?
Sorry, Nandini Mataji. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Narad Muni and Daksh cursed Narad Muni, but Narad Muni accepted it gracefully and went back.
Yes, yes. That's perfect. Yeah. So he did not curse back. Yeah. That could be
Krishna
a good
delivered
example.
Putna.
Krishna and Putana. Yeah, yeah, Prabhu. That's an amazing example. Like again, she came to like kill him, but she got a post of a nurse in the spiritual world. So that is the amazing mercy of the Supreme Lord. Thank you for saying that.
Actually, just one interesting point that Nitya Mataji mentioned, Bharat
Yeah,
Maharaj and the deer. So it's
yeah,
like if we go by the raw definition of mercy, which is to award something that one does not deserve, right?
right,
So it can go actually in the negative way
correct.
because like, see, that is the reason why in the Vedic times, if you're not qualified for some form of knowledge, it would not be given to you. Like somebody who is not in a Brahman Varna, they wouldn't be given the knowledge of the Vedas because the
Correct,
knowledge of the Vedas was it had a lot of power. So then it just anyone and everyone could not have it. So there we see that mercy is not there in its form. But then, of
right,
course, love of God is like a universal thing
right,
beyond all varna and ashrams. So there, yeah, mercy is there. But then, yeah, that aspect is there that giving something someone does not deserve, there is always the chance that it could go south or it could be misused or something like that. Anyway,
right.
sorry to bring that angle.
No,
So,
no, that's perfect, Prabhu. That makes a lot of sense because I think in the further slides we will try to like further describe what really mercy is because the initial definition was kind of like a very mundane definition that getting something which you do not deserve is mercy. That is true. Like a professor giving marks to someone to just pass them. But in the material world, if we think about it, it's not really going to help them at the end if they just pass without studying. So, like at the core, if we look at it, like, is that person really like praying for the good or like wishing good of that person? We don't know. So I think that aspects of mercy and what is spiritual mercy really, we will explore further.
Yeah, and that also
Awesome.
brings about what Gaurakumar Prabhu says, like it has to flow downwards. So it
Right.
has to be coming from something higher.
Correct.
Yeah, sorry.
That's perfect, Prabhu. So we'll see like how Lord himself is merciful. Then from the Lord, the mercy flows to the devotees, and then from the devotees, it flows further. So that's perfect, Prabhu. It is, yeah, it should be coming in that flow downwards. Yeah, and Manjari Gopi Mataji also says like Nalakuvera and Manikriva were on the receiving ends of mercy. That is perfect. We are going to discuss that in one of the further slides. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Mataji. So. So here we'll just quickly see how the Lord is merciful. So Bhagavatam says that the Supreme Lord Krishna manifests his human-like form to show mercy to his devotees. And he performs such wonderful pastimes that anyone who hears them will become exclusively devoted to him. So, so the main reason, like Lord appears for many reasons, as we know, like he comes to like destroy the sinful people, establish dharma. But the main reason why he comes, why he appears is so that his all people get a chance to be devoted to him, to love him, and that way get kind of liberated from the material situation. So that's the mercy of the Lord, because of which he appears on the earth in different species and all of that. So in Bhagavatam, there is also one prayer. Let me read this. So, my Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the supreme personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they come to study the Vedas for many years. So one cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna or his form, quality, or name simply by mental speculation or by discussion of Vedic literature as well. One can understand him only by devotional service. Therefore, to give this devotional service to all the devotees, the Lord descends. He attracts all the fallen conditioned souls. And with his transcendental service, everyone gets an opportunity to understand the Supreme Lord, the absolute truth, and experience the bliss in relation to him. So, yeah, that is the mercy aspect of the Lord. And I wanted to ask one thing. So we can see this mercy of the Lord in many, many of his pastimes, but there is one particular pastime where this mercy or Kripa Shakti has been highlighted. Can we remember? Does anyone remember what is that pastime where this Kripa Shakti has been highlighted? I'm sure there will be multiple, but this is something which I thought of.
Damodar.
Damodar Leela. That's perfect. Yeah. Gaur Kumar Prabhu had explained in his Krishna House class, like how uh, Yashoda Maya was striving to tie Damodar, but like tying the Lord is an impossible task. It is literally an impossible task. But seeing the efforts and love of Mother Yashoda, the Lord was merciful upon her. And we also know how all the Shaktis were siding against of the Lord getting tied. His own Shaktis, they were like, it does not suit the Lord to get tied, Shri, all the energies, but only his Kripa Shakti, his mercy energy said that he should be tied because he was merciful on Mother Yashoda. And that is also one aspect of the mercy of Lord. Yeah, Jagannath Gopal Prabhu. Kripaya Sitsva Bandhane.
Yeah,
Want
that
to talk about
verse.
it, Prabhu? Yeah, yeah.
So that verse says exactly what you just said. He saw the efforts. Uh, Swamatrasmin Gatraya something I forget anyway. But yeah, the verse ends with Kripaya Sita Swabandhane. Krishna
Right.
out of his mercy. he decided to get bound. Swabandhane. So
Perfect.
yeah.
So that is his mercy and reciprocation to Mother Yashoda. Now we will see further. Uh, we know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is himself the mercy incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He literally came to just distribute love freely to everyone, love of Godhead freely to everyone. But in the story of Jagai and Madai, we can see like even he was angry because Jagai and Madai were attacking Nityananda Prabhu. And at that time, we can see how the devotees of the Lord are even more merciful than the Lord himself. So all of us like know the Jagai Madai story, but I will still repeat it. It's nice to hear it again. So Jagai and Madai were born in a high-class Brahmana family in Navadvip, and their names were Jagannath and Madhavananda Rai, the sons of Raghunath Rai. But due to bad association, they became meat eaters, drunkards, debauchees, gamblers, and murderers. They were doing all sorts of nonsense. And because of so much disturbance they were causing, respected people were just avoiding them completely. And that was the time when Lord Chaitanya started his Sankirtan movement, and he told Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur to literally go door to door and request everyone to chant the holy names of the Lord, and they were literally doing that. And they both of them saw that Jagai and Madai were the most fallen of that neighborhood, and they were like, these are the perfect candidates for preaching. If we are like able to preach them, then everyone will be impressed. Everyone will take to chanting the names of the Lord. So both of them approached Jagai and Madai and asked them to chant the holy names of Krishna. But Jagai and Madai, due to their nature, their association, they get enraged and they literally chased out Nityananda and Haridas Thakur and Nityananda Prabhu were literally running for their lives. So I'm just telling in short. So next day, again they meet, and at that time, Madai is really drunk, and he strikes Nityananda Prabhu on his head, and he strikes a earthen pot on his head, and uh, Nityananda Prabhu's head starts bleeding, and his clothes are covered in his blood. And in that situation, also, he's praying to Lord that please deliver them. And he is saying, I cannot see their suffering, so please deliver them. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard about this, he immediately came to the spot, and he was ready to punish both the brothers. He saw Nityananda Prabhu in that state with like blood all over his clothes and blood fallen on the ground. So Mahaprabhu literally roared angrily, and he was summoning the Sudarshan Chakra to kill both the brothers. But Nityananda Prabhu stopped him, saying, this incarnation is not for killing the sinners, but to deliver them. And he prayed that I really want to see both of them become lovers of gods. And then Mahaprabhu calmed down, and by just seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face, both of these sinful brothers were cleansed and completely transformed. And later they were initiated in chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and the Lord delivered them. So again, here we see that how the devotees of the Lord are even more merciful than the Lord himself. They are ready to suffer so others can obtain mercy. And even in Bhagavad Gita, we see that Krishna puts a lot of conditions on his mercy. He says, engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, worship me, be completely absorbed in me, and then surely you will come to me. So there are so many conditions Krishna himself is putting. Later also he says, like, be completely surrendered to me. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself was Krishna, but he was distributing the love of Godhead very freely. And Nityananda Prabhu was even more merciful than him. He was not distinguishing between anyone, like, is that person good, bad, qualified, unqualified. His mercy was literally universal. So, yeah, those are glories of Nityananda Prabhu and how devotees are more merciful than the Lord himself. And there is this very interesting comparison which I found, which is again a metaphor for like entrance examination. So they say that if imagine there is an entrance examination for going to Goloka, going back to Godhead. Then Krishna wants you to study all the syllabus thoroughly, appear for the exam, and then pass the exam to get the admission. But Mahaprabhu says, just come and appear for the exam. I don't care about how you're performing, just come and appear. And Nityananda Prabhu is himself coming to your home with the exam paper and asking, just write this, just write this, and you will get the admission. So, yeah, just some perspective for understanding the mercy of the devotees. Okay, now that we are going from the mercy of the Lord to the mercy of devotees, we will go to the main character whom we want to discuss today, and that's our Prahlad Maharaj. So, as we know, can anyone say from whom Prahlad Maharaj himself got mercy?
Narad.
No. Yes, 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 Nandini Mataji. It's perfect. So, Sage Narada, so when Prahlad was in the womb of his mother, Sage Narada like gave him all the knowledge and love of Godhead, and that's how he got mercy. And then further, he was merciful towards everyone, and that's what we are going to focus today. So, before we start discussing about mercy of Prahlad Maharaj, I want you all to imagine something. So, imagine a 5-year-old child who is surrounded by all bullies in his school. He goes to school every day, but the purpose of that school is not education, it is just indoctrination. And the teachers are openly mocking God, the classmates are trained to admire power, violence, dominance, and when this child goes home after all of this, it's not like his parents are lovingly waiting for him, but the person who hates his devotion, his nature the most is his own father. His father is not just a strict father, a father who repeatedly tries to kill him. And this is not a metaphor, this was the everyday reality for Prahlad Maharaj's childhood. So we can imagine how brutal that situation is. And now, the most important point over here is after going through all of this, Prahlad Maharaj did not grow up asking that, why is my life so difficult? He did not grow up asking, why didn't Krishna give me a better family? But he grew up asking a very different question. He was asking, why are all these people suffering so much without Krishna? He was seeing the suffering the other people who are actually torturing him, they are going through because of their material condition and them being away from Krishna. So that's why Prahlad Maharaj is extraordinary. He was not protected by a spiritual environment. He did not have supportive parents. He did not have devotee association. He did not even have physical safety. And yet he became one of the 12 Mahajanas, the great authorities on bhakti. So again, Prahlad Maharaj is not a Mahajana because he endured suffering, but because how he responded to the suffering, and that is with mercy. He forgave everyone, and not just forgave, he was also merciful. He wanted all of them to be liberated, all of them to achieve love of Godhead. So this is very important to us because many times we think I'll be kind when people are kind to me. I will be spiritual when the environment supports me. I will be steady when my life becomes peaceful. But Prahlad Maharaj shows us something totally radical if we think about it, that mercy is not dependent on good circumstances, but it is kind of like a quality which they have received, and then their consciousness has developed that quality of mercy. So we can say that in fact Prahlad Maharaj was not protected by the world, but the world was protected by Prahlad Maharaj. So with that, just a small video. Okay, I hope this plays.
पूरा त्रिलोक हमसे डरता है और इस डर के कारण को तुम्हें भी समझना होगा राजपुत्र। हम्म हम्म हिंसा मेरा धर्म, हिरण्यकश्यप ही मेरा भगवान, ऐसे ही धर्म का पालन करना ही मेरा सौभाग्य है।
So yeah, that video kind of shows his mercifulness that even sorry, could you all see and hear that video? I'm not sure if you could all see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so video kind of shows like again his merciful nature that even people were trying to attack him, but still he wanted to show his kindness towards them, and that was his nature.
Yeah, there is that sentence that the that guy says, na, that kid, other kid, कोमल हाँ कोमल हो कमजोर नहीं. Yes,
Kamzor
yes.
nahi, yes.
Mm.
Nupur Mataji, yes, but yeah, Nupur Mataji should remember it, definitely. So we are seeing her in the scene. Yeah, jokes apart. So yeah, a question over here, kind of different question, but if friends of our kids are bullying them for following spirituality, how can we practice and teach kindness to them? Any thoughts on this? Yeah, Krishnan Prabhu, go ahead.
By showing kindness to them, to the bullies.
So like basically you are saying you will teach your kid to show kindness to the bullies?
Yeah, and also we will show kindness to the bullies. That's hopefully that'll be the way that they will. Yad yad acharati shrestha.
Mm. Yeah. That's a
It's
great
just an
point.
approach. I have no idea, Prabhu. Just a
Right, right.
thought.
Yeah, and I'm also like just I have also no idea what's the right answer. I just thought it's something relevant. This can happen in devotee communities, and what is the right approach. But then, Prabhu, what would be your like advice to the kids themselves who are getting bullied?
Obviously, this is a complicated question in the material world.
Yeah.
I, the most people who bully typically have something lacking in their lives,
Right,
and that's why they bully, and so there is a psychological need. Now,
right,
if it's our child, then the first and foremost thing to do is teach the child that to certainly not hate. Of course, we have to teach them, in the material world, to stand up for themselves, but
right.
also more importantly, to not hate even the bullies.
Mm. It's a
Because
great
even if
point.
you fall into that trap, then you will fill, the child will fill their mind with negativeness.
Makes sense.
Obviously, the answer is very idealistic. I'd love other people's perspectives.
Yeah, that's a nice point, bro. Jagannath Gopal, bro, we can go ahead.
So, um, see, it's mercy, right? Like to there are degrees of showing mercy. So,
Right,
and the degrees of showing mercy will depend on how spiritually advanced the receiver of the abuse is at, right?
right,
Now, for somebody like Prahlad Maharaj, sure, they can forgive and they
right,
can, they are so pure at heart that they can forgive, and that forgiveness will totally transform the heart of the other person, and they'll stop doing that or whatever. But then we have to see in terms of where we are, like forget about the kid, even the parent may not be at that level that, at
correct.
least
Yeah,
if somebody, is, I hope this does not happen, but then let's be real. If somebody does bully Prithu tomorrow in school, I will feel angry about it.
right,
Um, and then, of course, I'll feel bad for the kid in the sense that the kid is going through something really bad at home because of which that behavior is coming out in school.
right.
But is it in my purview to address that? Mostly not, right? So now in that case, retaliate, and retaliate does not mean I'll tell Prithu to bully them back, right?
Right.
But then at least escalate, or defend himself and escalate to the teachers or whatever. Even in, see, kids have their own ethics. They have formed
Right.
an ethical system of their own. If going to the teachers might, make him less popular, make his, oh, he's a tattletale, things like that, right? So
Right.
we have to see how exactly that needs to be handled, but retaliation needs to be there. And
Right.
after strong retaliation, sure, if you want to show kindness after strong retaliation, when the other person stops, then you want to show kindness. After you have showed your power, then if you want to show your kindness, that is good enough as well, I feel. It's not that I'll tell Pritu to retaliate and show
Right.
strength there, and then the bullying happens the other way around.
Right.
That also is not what we want, right?
Makes
But
sense.
at
Yeah.
least that retaliation needs to be there in some form, in some practical form. Nahi to फिर it becomes tough. Like a very close colleague I work with, his daughter, she was suicidal.
Oh.
And then he was sharing once that she was bullied to such an extent in her high school, because of which she became suicidal. And then
Mm.
she became suicidal, and then it completely put her life in a different trajectory. She could not continue in that school. I think this happened in middle school. She could
Oh.
not go to a regular high school. She had to go to a high school somewhere in North Carolina, which is for such kids who are psychologically, affected. Even
Right.
for college, she went to such a college. So then these things have like very practical ramifications.
Correct. Very
So I
true.
think retaliation is very necessary in this case. And then after that, you can show kindness, you can show friendship, is what's coming to my mind right now. Yeah.
Totally makes sense, Prabhu. Very beautifully explained. Yeah, I think I was also thinking like how the relationship of Prahlad Maharaj was with Hiranyakashipu. We will come to it later, but it's kind of interesting. Like whenever something was said to him which did not fall in his values, he never like accepted it. He always retaliated it, but he did it respectfully. So he was always sure to put his point forward. He never accepted what Hiranyakashipu said, but also he maintained his respect and he internally didn't hate him. Obviously, this is like a very high goal to achieve. As you said, even for parents, kids are very far. But yeah, just something I was thinking like this is something which can happen in devotee circles, and if we can learn anything from Prahlad Maharaj over here. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else has anything to say about it? Yeah. I can
You
we
know,
can go.
there is
Yeah.
a song by Saint Tyagaraja,
Okay.
which covers this, which is Samadhana Beda Danda, and I think
Hmm.
it comes in some Puranas also, which is the Sama is, I think, is to first to try to negotiate.
Right.
Dana is to bribe, or to try to come out of the situation. Veda is to use logic, but if none of these works, then you use danda. So that
Hmm.
is what Tyagaraja says that Lord Rama did. He used
Right.
Samadhana, Veda, and then finally danda.
Hmm.
So, but I also completely agree with what Jagannath Gopal Prabhu said.
Right.
Obviously in the material world, you cannot wait for all these things, because if you wait for all these things, the child's self-esteem may get harmed,
Yep.
the child's confidence level may get harmed, and 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 a child may not be mature enough to know this, the broad perspective. So, our first responsibility as parents is to make sure that the child is confident and strong, and but at the same time, the child has values.
Right.
So, I think both of them go hand in hand.
Makes sense, Prabhu. Very true. Yeah. Like, yeah, them being able to protect themselves is also equally important, and then them having values is also important. Yeah. Gaurakumar Prabhu says Vasudeva used Samadana Bheda with Kamsa, yeah. And Krishna gave the danda, I think. Yeah, so yeah, if we can kind of go ahead later, if anyone finds more anything about this, we can come back to it. But right now we will go forward. So
Do you
yeah.
mind if I ask a question, Prabhu?
Yeah,
This
sure,
this
sure.
this
Yeah.
this is related to what Jagannath Gopal Prabhu said. That he said that there are levels of mercy, and
Right,
so sometimes I noticed that you've used the word kindness, and sometimes you
right.
use the word mercy.
Yeah.
And is there a difference? Is there a gradation? And
Yeah. So yeah.
yeah, go ahead, Prabhu.
Yeah, so Prabhu, the way I was seeing it as so, I think it has been translated differently. So I think in CC, I think if I'm not wrong, it is translated as mercy, and in Bhagavatam, it is translated as kindness, or it could be the otherwise. But so the way I was seeing is mercy is something more spiritual that I could be wrong, but it's the way Nityananda trying to like really deliver them from the material world. But kindness is something I see as like anyone can practice. So obviously we are not at a level that we could deliver someone. Maybe we can try, but like we need to first like ourselves be somewhere. But kindness, I think, is something more practical, which we can anyone can practice. So I think like both of them are kind of like two sides. It could be used interchangeably, but one is more spiritual and what one could be used in the daily life, I think. Yeah, Vallabh Chaitanya Prabhu, Manjari Gopi Mataji, you can go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, I was also thinking on the same lines as Krishnan Prabhu is asking this question.
Right,
So me and Manjri Gopi were discussing that. So mercy, as Gorkar was saying, it's more like a vertical
right,
from higher, and kindness seems to be, more on horizontal level, like
correct,
coming from mode of goodness.
right.
So like for the example of deer and Bharat Maharaj also. So it was more on the level of, I mean, these are my thoughts, mode of
Yeah,
goodness. And whereas mercy usually is coming from pure goodness to the rest of the modes. So
that is
yeah.
perfect, Prabhu. I think, yeah, it totally makes sense. Yeah, Gaur Kumar, Prabhu, go ahead.
So, just in line with that, so kindness, it gives us what we deserve, Prabhu, but
Mm,
mercy gives us what we need.
right,
So sometimes we might deserve something, and then kindness, we get that. And that is why we call it kindness, because that person is kind and they gave us what we deserved. But mercy is actually what we need, and that is higher than kindness.
totally, bro. Makes
So,
sense.
So where this thing is coming also, right? Just to add to what Soham Prabhu mentioned. So there are two places where these 26 qualities are mentioned. One is in Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami himself mentions in Bengali. And then the other place is in one of the purports in the fifth canto, where Prabhupada lists out the 26 qualities. So in the CC verse, the term used by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is Kripalu. And in the fifth canto purport, the term used by Prabhupada is that a devotee is always kind. So that is where that confusion arose. Actually, Soham Prabhu and I discussed about it as well when he was preparing for it. But yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
these points are very valid.
yeah. Yeah, thank you, bro. So I think so. I was also kind of trying to use them in the way like wherever it's more spiritual, like in the terms of like Nityananda Prabhu, then it's more mercy versus something it's like here where it's we treating our friends, our colleagues, then I'm using kindness to make it like as Vallabh Chaitanya Prabhu rightly said, where it's like a horizontal transaction versus it's vertical. So yeah, if anywhere we feel that other word would be better, we can change it. But yeah, we can go ahead on the discussion. So yeah, this was something I wanted to discuss later that uh, again here we can say like maybe is Vaishnava mercy different from like the materialistic practicing kindness? I think we kind of answered it in this previous discussion, but if anyone wants to add further anything, in this.
Yeah, Prabhu, I was just thinking about this. So, yeah, I think already Vallabh Chaitanya Prabhu and Gaurakumar Prabhu has covered. But now that I'm thinking, like, kindness is like, okay, I give, like, giving food to hungry. That is
Right,
relieving suffering of a person. That is kind. You are kind and then you give it.
right.
But actually, something which is benefiting the person eternally or like not just temporary is what mercy is. It is like
Correct.
removing the ignorance, not just relieving the suffering of the person.
Makes sense. That is perfect, Prabhu. Yeah. So yeah, I had some like similar points from what I heard from classes. So it says exactly the same thing that material kindness focuses on comfort of the body and comfort of the mind, versus Vaishnava's mercy focuses on awakening the soul and love for Godhead, even if it challenges their habits. So again, before we compare this material kindness versus Vaishnava's mercy, we I want to be clear that material kindness is not at all bad. It is noble, it is generous, it is necessary, like feeding the hungry, helping the sick. All of those are like great acts. But Prahlad Maharaj is teaching us like this another aspect of mercy, uh, which is kind of very deep, I would say. So as material kindness is focusing more on the body and mind, and the goal is like comfort, stability, emotional relief. The statements would be something like, I don't want them to feel pain, I don't want them to be upset. Let me say something that will make them feel better right now. So what material kindness is kind of like, how can I reduce their discomfort in the current moment? And the limitation of it is that the problem that not all discomfort is harmful. Some discomfort could be transformative as well. And Prahlad Maharaj never tried to make his father comfortable. If we look at him, he never said that you are fine the way you are. He never avoided difficult truths to preserve the emotional peace in their conversations. He spoke about the Supreme Lord, knowing that it would anger his father. From a material point of view, this might look unkind, that how are you like speaking something which is making your father angry. But from a Vaishnava's point of view, this is the highest mercy. Because Prahlad Maharaj obviously like understood like it very deeply, that temporary comfort can keep maybe someone like asleep, but uh, spiritual awakening often requires some disturbance, and he was creating that disturbance for Hiranyakashipu. So yeah, with that, can go forward. So the preacher aspect. So here I want to focus on the preacher aspect of Prahlad Maharaj, how he was preaching the young kids in his classroom, the young demon kids. And I just quote from Bhagavatam, like what he was speaking to his friends. So, in speaking to his friends, who were all sons of demons, Prahlad Maharaj stressed that every living entity, especially in human society, must be interested in spiritual realization from the very beginning of life. When human beings are children, they should be taught that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the worshipable deity for everyone. One should not be very much interested in material enjoyment. Instead, one should be satisfied with whatever material profits are easily obtainable. And because the duration of one's life is very short, one should utilize every moment for spiritual advancement. One may wrongly think in the beginning of our lives, let us enjoy material facilities, and in old age, we may become Krishna conscious. I think, yeah, many materialist people, I mean, I don't want to like categorize people, but yeah, people have those thoughts that in the early life, let me enjoy, and then when I become old, then I will do that. But then Prahlad Maharaj also clarifies that such thoughts are useless, because in old age one cannot be trained in the spiritual way of life. Therefore, from the very beginning of life, one should engage in devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, and this is the duty of all living entities. So here we can see like what kind of mercy he had for all of his demon friends. And so he was trying his best to liberate his friends from the suffering of material life. And we will come back to this later, but I wanted to focus more on this mercy of devotees and this preaching aspect later again. So, yeah, so talking more about the mercy of the devotees. Can anyone say which is the shloka which glorifies the mercy of devotees? We kind of recite it very regularly.
Kripa sindhubhya eva cha.
Correct. Perfect, Prabhu. So, as you said, if we focus on Kripa Sindhu, it is described that these devotees are ocean of mercy. They are not just merciful, but they are ocean of mercy. And so that is beautiful. Like we can see like how even if Nityananda Prabhu was kind of like being attacked, he had to face like personal suffering, but still he was merciful. So that's like literally being ocean of mercy. There was no limit like after which his mercy will end. Whatever you do, he was going to be merciful. So that's how the mercy of devotees is described. So Prabhupada, I wanted to say what Prabhupada states about the mercifulness of the devotees. So he first, like, there was one class where he was first describing the Krishna conscious philosophy in short, that how uh, all of us are in darkness, and if if we fix our eyes on the sun, then we can see both the sun and the oneself as well. Similarly, is self-realization. Uh, Self-realization is possible only in the presence of the Supreme Lord. We cannot do it in darkness ourselves. So, uh, to see, to truly see ourselves, we must first see the Supreme Self. The Supreme Self is Krishna, is what Prabhupada says. Therefore, Krishna consciousness movement means becoming fixed in this self by fixing mind upon Krishna. And when the mind is fixed on Krishna, it naturally becomes fixed on everything else in proper understanding. So, with this philosophy, he says that further, when devotees learn this philosophy, when devotees start experiencing this happiness, devotees cannot sit idle. They Krishna consciousness person cannot sit quietly knowing that such a profound and life-changing philosophy exists. He feels that this must be distributed, and this becomes the mission of their lives. So if we compare it to a yogi may be satisfied with his own spiritual elevation, sitting in a secluded place and practicing yoga for personal liberation. But a devotee is not satisfied with personal salvation alone. Therefore, we offer our respectful obeisances to Vaishnavas, again, who are described as oceans of mercy. Because a true devotee is deeply merciful towards these conditioned souls and wants to distribute this mercy freely to everyone. And Prabhupada also further gives this example of Jesus Christ. He said he exemplified this exact spirit. He was God conscious, but he was not satisfied with keeping that realization to himself. If he had done so, he would have not faced the crucifixion. But because he sought to uplift others, he accepted even the risk of death. And that is the nature of a true devotee. Because for this reason, the preacher is declared to be the dearest servant of the Lord. Prabhupada further says that preachers face opposition, disappointment, defeat, resistance, and not every devotee is equally equipped. Yet the sincere endeavor to spread Krishna consciousness, even amid opposition, is the highest service to the Lord, because it seeks to elevate humanity to the highest standard of self-realization. So, one who has truly seen the self, who is absorbed in the transcendental realization, cannot remain inactive. He must come forward and try to give it to everyone else. And in connection with this exact same, there is this story of Ramanujacharya. So, Jagannath Gopal Prabhu recently did a very nice drama in Bhakti Center about this exact story. I can tell it quickly. Uh, so Ramanujacharya, his guru, told him to get mantra from this another acharya called Goshti and he was from another village. So Ramanujacharya had to travel there and ask for that mantra, but he was like denied multiple times. And he really, really took so much efforts to receive that mantra, going there again and again. And finally, the Acharya Goshtipurna, he was impressed and he felt satisfied and he gave the mantra, the secret mantra to Ramanujacharya. But he also warned him that if you give this mantra to anyone else, then you will go to hell. You have to keep it a secret. But this is a mantra which is going to liberate you from all the material sufferings and give you like love of God. So he gave this message, and so Ramanuja was very happy. He came out, and after coming out, the first thing which he did was he went to a temple nearby. He announced everyone. He called all the people because he felt very sad when he saw all the ignorant and depressed masses around. He felt that all of these people deserve to know this mantra. And he distributed that mantra openly to everyone. And then this Acharya Goshtipurna got very upset. He came and he was like, how can you do this? I told you not to give this mantra to anyone, but you still did it. And then Ramanujacharya explains that uh, it's okay. He's ready to go to hell, but he is more satisfied if he could uplift the ignorant masses by doing so. And when Goshtipurna gets to know this perspective of thinking of Ramanujacharya. He realizes his own narrow-mindedness and the supreme magnanimity of this Ramanujacharya. So then Goshtipurna embraces him in deep devotion, and we can again see how mercifulness of devotees is, even if it is at their own cost. And Prabhupada further says that if a mantra can uplift, why should it be secret? Why should people be charged money for it? Secrecy and payment are signs of cheating. In contrast, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is distributed freely, openly in streets and parks without charge. So, and devotees are like so merciful, they are ready to like take take all the pain, sufferings to distribute it. We have so many examples if we go in the past of like Krishna consciousness history, like how much people have endeavored to just distribute Krishna consciousness. If we think about it, that is totally mercifulness of the devotees. So yeah, with that aspect, I was saying like how this preaching and mercifulness are very connected to each other. And with that in mind, I wanted to ask this further question for discussion, that if a devotee is not directly into preaching, does that mean they are not merciful? Anyone, any thoughts on this?
Can you
Purely not.
clarify the question, Prabhu? Can you clarify the question just
Yeah,
once
so
again?
so so I was thinking like more from the perspective that how we look at preaching. So for example, when we think of preaching, we mostly think of like speaking, distributing books, or convincing other to accept this path of Krishna consciousness. And if someone is not so much into all of these activities, they are maybe they get their nourishment or they like to do some other kinds of services to that Lord, then would we say that they are not really merciful? Because when you are merciful, you are preaching others, you want everyone to be on this path. So if you're not doing that, then is that devotee not really merciful? That was the question overall.
Got it.
If that question makes
But
sense.
I think one way of looking at it is people could be preaching even without saying anything,
Right,
just through their actions and their behavior. And so they could be merciful.
right,
The simplest thing that Srila Prabhupada said was to offer prasadam. That's also kind of mercy people will we delivered a paid prasadam.
That's very beautiful, Maharaj. Yeah.
Preaching is not that everybody does and can do, but
Right.
other things that can be done that will deliver uh, conditioned souls.
That's perfect, Maharaj. Yeah. Thank you for that. And anything else on this? Okay. Yeah. So both what of you like whatever both of you said, that's perfect. Like I had some very similar points on this. So I was focusing more on preaching when I say preaching as like activities of speaking, distributing books, convincing others to be on this path. But then I wanted to again focus on the other like subtle sides of preaching, as both Mataji and Prabhuji said, that if we then if we look at the situation of Prahlad Maharaj again, Prahlad Maharaj is this small child sitting in a school meant for demons, and he doesn't have like any encouragement for preaching or institutional support. He's not even expected to do anything over there. Rather, he is not expected to do that. And yet, while other children are choosing to play and stuff, Prahlad Maharaj stands up and begins to speak. And he is not like trying to really argue or defeat anyone. He just simply wants to say, like, my dear friends, this human form and life are very rare. And from childhood itself, if one should begin Bhagavad Dharma. So this is important that Prahlad Maharaj was not thinking that I'm a preacher or I have some responsibility. He was just thinking, if I know something that can relieve suffering, how can I keep it only to myself? So I was thinking, at least for me, sometimes it happens that I'm like measuring things like by activity, like how much am I doing? How much is it visible? Am I doing something actively or not? But I think like from the Prahlad Maharaj's example, we can see like how things can be more deep and more subtle. That even when Prahlad Maharaj was silent, he was being tortured, questioned, or threatened, he was still preaching because his steadiness, his fearlessness, his lack of hatred towards the ones who were torturing him, that itself was a message for so many of them. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that Prahlad Maharaj's life suggests that not everyone needs to speak or lead or convince. Someone can just influence others by just their actions and what they are going through and how they are leading their own life. Like just looking at it, others can get inspired, and that way they can be very merciful. So some can preach with words, some can be preached with just their conduct, and some can preach by living a life where things can be very hard, but still consistently practicing bhakti. So all of that is preaching. So yeah.
I have a question to the
Yeah.
question.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's Prahlad Maharaj's example of that be consistent with preaching the knowledge, even if on your own expense of getting the harm. At the same time, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, don't give the knowledge to those who don't have respect for it or shraddha for it. So how do you take that two aspects of?
That's a great question, Mataji. Like Jagannath Gopal Prabhu or Gaur Kumar Prabhu, would anyone like to answer it?
Sure, I can think of something. So not preaching to somebody who is antagonistic is actually kindness towards them, if you look at it. Because if somebody is antagonistic and if we go and preach to them, they will actually blaspheme in response. And that blasphemy will actually take them further away from Krishna. Already they are away from Krishna, but that blasphemy, which was triggered by our misplaced or whatever kindness, that will take them further away. So, in that case, we need to give them time to get ready. And when they get ready, then Krishna will arrange someone. So, in that respect, I think this is my thinking. In that, from that angle, Krishna says, don't give this those to those who are not faithful. Even like the ninth offense, right? do not give the holy name to those who are not faithful. But we still chant, we still go and do Nagar Sankirtan and everything. So, but yeah, both those aspects are there. So
Right.
Do you think, Prabhu? Sorry, go ahead, Mataji.
No, no, I was just saying. Yeah, I mean, from Prahlad Maharaj's example is like be consistent, even though the recipient is not positively willing to take it. On the other hand, it's a fine line where to stop, right?
no, Prahlad Maharaj's friends were not negative actually. Prahlad Maharaj's friends were innocent. They were demoniac kids, granted, but they were actually innocent. Otherwise, they wouldn't dance. They wouldn't dance, and it says like we do this in dramas when we do Narsimha drama. That at one point Prahlad Maharaj does kirtan with his friends, and even they show in Narsimha movie. So they were innocent, sure. They were misinformed and innocent, but they were not envious or antagonistic like Hiranyakashipu. And Hiranyakashipu also, Prahlad Maharaj said those things because that was what was asked to him. It's not like Hiranyakashipu is just sitting and doing his kingly duties, and Prahlad Maharaj, out of his own accord, goes and preaches to Hiranyakashipu. No, when Hiranyakashipu calls him and Hiranyakashipu is asking questions, tell me, what have you learned in school? Yeah, this is what I learned in school. This is what I learned. So that's why that those messages are coming out, which are no doubt divine messages. But yeah, in I think there is a difference in terms of the kids in Prahlad Maharaj's school and the um, Hiranyakashipu. So yeah, at least my perspective on that.
Yeah, thank you. It was clear because he was just answering the questions.
Yeah.
Hiranyakashipu.
Somewhere Prabhupada writes, I'm pretty sure I read it in some purport that yeah, in Bhakti Shastri, of course, there is this thing that if you should stay away from two people, two categories of people, one who go against the supremacy of Krishna, and there is one more category. But essentially, those who are envious of God, it's tough to crack through them. So they have to go through the evolution of whatever birth and death or life struggles to come to that point of acceptance. And so Prabhupada writes somewhere that there are two categories. One those who are envious, they we cannot do anything. We have to give them time. But those who are innocent, they are misinformed, but they are innocent. If they are nudged in the right direction, they might go. For them is preaching, something like that. So of course, and if somebody is like really, really has that love, has that intense love for Krishna in their heart, that purity, then they are able to transform anyone. That's an Uttam Adhikari. But most preachers are Madhyam. So Madhyam Adhikari, one of the main characteristics is they differentiate between those who are envious and those who are favorable towards bhakti, and they preach accordingly, like that. Sorry, I just took so much time. It's 9:56 already.
No, that's perfect, Prabhu. Yeah, that answer was very nice, very clearing. Yeah, I like the fact that you said like he did not actively preach to Hiranyakashipu, but he was actively preaching to the innocent friend. So I think that kind of does make that distinction. So I like it.
So the takeaway really is to those who are who are open to receiving the knowledge, give it to them or share with them, but not to those who cannot be cracked, as you mentioned.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
thank you.
But again, I think, yeah, sorry, Moses.
No, thank you very much. It's very helpful.
Yeah, thank you for that question, Mataji. But I was also thinking like, but if it is, I think, a very exalted personality like Nityananda Prabhu, then he did like preach to Jagai Madai as well. Because I don't think like Jagai Madai fit into that category, right, Prabhu? Of like, uh,
Yeah.
were they like innocent really? Like they were resisting, but maybe it was because it was Nityananda Prabhu he could
Yeah,
preach.
yeah.
Yeah,
That is like Nityanand Prabhu's compassion, Mahaprabhu's compassion, it breaks away all these barriers. So it's like the most unqualified get the highest thing. That is their mercy. But
makes
that's
sense.
them. Should we
Right.
do that? Should we go to the
Right.
Jagais and Madais of today and preach to them? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
I don't think
question.
so.
Mostly not. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
makes sense. Yeah. Okay, I think I'll just go to one last slide and then we can end this. Uh, yeah. So yeah, I
Uh,
wanted to.
was
Yeah.
there any question before this also, Prabhu?
It's fine, bro. I don't think we want to go there. I just wanted to focus on this one last thing of like mercy towards Hiranyakashipu because Prahlad Maharaj really had like this kind of shows his epitome of his mercy that uh, it's like really revealing how merciful he is towards his father as well, who literally tried to kill him. Like he took every opportunity to kill him. So I was thinking it can be still okay to be kind towards people who misunderstand us occasionally, but it can be harder to be kind towards someone who is like trying to harm us again and again. And it is not imaginable to be kind towards someone who is trying to kill us. And Hiranyakashipu was not just an angry parent, he was like a tyrant, he was a blasphemer of the Supreme Lord, and someone who saw his own son as like the enemy of the state. And yet, when we study Prahlad Maharaj's words carefully, he never speaks about his father with hatred. Like he never says like my father deserves punishment. Instead, he just speaks to him as someone who is misguided. So there is this verse where Prahlad Maharaj speaks to Hiranyakashipu, which in essence says that everyone in this materialistic life is very anxious because they are attached to temporary things. All of them remain disturbed. So this is what he is preaching as a child to this extremely powerful. He was like at that time the most powerful demon in the universe. And Prahlad Maharaj is not in fear, he is not a rebel, but he is actually speaking to his father out of concern. And this tells us something very important of like the Vaishnava's qualities, that this mercy is not like, or this kindness is not for any approval, or this kindness does not also enable any harmful behaviors. So Prahlad Maharaj does not agree with his father, he does not validate his worldview, but he also does not emotionally reject his father. So I thought like that is something like really amazing. And also it is very relevant to us that again, we cannot like really imitate Prahlad Maharaj, but many of us struggle with different relationships where values are clashing. There could be family members, authority figures, colleagues, and we often feel that we must choose between these two extremes, that either I agree with them to keep peace, whatever their view is, or I reject them emotionally to protect myself. But Prahlad Maharaj is showing this third option where he is disagreeing strongly, but without any inner hatred or without emotionally closing. So I think this is very interesting. And even when Narsingadev appears and Hiranyakashipu is killed, he could be like, oh, finally my suffering is over now. But that is not Prahlad Maharaj's response. When Narsingadev appeared and he offered a benediction for Prahlad Maharaj, he does not ask for liberation to himself. He does not ask, like, okay, relieve me from all this trauma I have been experiencing from my childhood. But he asks that his father must be forgiven. And this is very deep, that because he understood that his father was suffering because he was disconnected from the Supreme Lord. And that understanding kind of makes Prahlad Maharaj more merciful, and he does not want to take any revenge, and he's concerned about the soul. So, yeah, I think with that, I'll just conclude this. Yeah, just great qualities of Prahlad Maharaj. Maybe just one last line, that when we speak of Prahlad Maharaj's mercy towards his father, uh, what we can like learn from it is not like tolerate abuse or injustice, but kind of like refine our inner posture to it. Like we can be like strongly saying, no, this is not correct, but also from inside, we don't have to hate that person. So just something to reflect on. Yes. So thank you so much. Yeah.
How many more slides you had, Prabhu?
I'll see, bro. I just created some extra slides in case there was more time because with this new timing, I was not sure how much, yeah,
Yeah.
time span will be required. So yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can discuss offline how many you which you wanted to cover but you could not cover.
Yeah, sure, bro.
Um,
Thank you.
yeah. But yeah, this was amazing, Prabhu. You set the benchmark for this series actually by through your presentation, all the wonderful research that you did in a very short time actually. I reached out to you just last week, I think. So, but I was very, very certain that you would do a great job at this. So, thank you very much for that. You really unpacked mercy and kindness. And yeah, it is more clearer to everyone about this. And then, of course, Prahlad Maharaj, he's a great Vaishnava who showed this quality. And you started with Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya. There is this very beautiful verse that Prahlad Maharaj says, Evam janam nipatitam prabhava hi kupe, kama bhikama manuya prapatan prasangat. So basically, that verse is I should serve my spiritual master. He's the one who gave me this. How can I ignore my service to my spiritual master? So he's expressing his gratitude to his spiritual master, Narad Muni, there. He took me out of what is that analogy given? The dark well, some snake, something. It's a dark well of material ignorance. He pulled me out of it and whatnot. So yeah, it was very beautiful. Thank you very much, Som Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu, for doing all of this and guiding me, helping me throughout. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah.
Cool. And those who kept their videos on, kudos to you. Thank you. And thank you, dear devotees, for all of your inputs. So we'll end with this. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda ki jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai His Grace Soham Prabhu ki jai
Okay.
Hare